Vron adjusted the strap of his armor as he stepped onto the rough terrain of the planet below. His eyes scanned the horizon, the low sun casting long shadows over the jagged cliffs. From his vantage point above, the small outpost he had been assigned to observe looked ordinary, humans moving among their basic structures, tending to what seemed like a crude settlement. But Vron knew appearances could be deceiving. The alien High Command had warned him about humans. They were described as primitive, fragile creatures, slow to learn, predictable in behavior, and no match for the technological might of the alien fleets. Vron, a soldier trained for precision and obedience, had expected little from these beings. Yet as he watched them, an unusual feeling stirred in his chest, a mix of curiosity and unease. Vron had been sent here to gather intelligence, to report on the human settlement's defenses and activity. He crouched behind a rocky outcrop, observing a group of humans moving in a formation that seemed almost chaotic. They carried devices that were clearly rudimentary weapons, yet the way they coordinated was impressive. One human moved ahead, scouting, while others spread to cover flanks, communicating with hand signals and short shouts. At first, Vron thought this was simple scouting behavior, nothing more than instinct. But then he saw it. A small group of humans stumbled into a patrol of alien drones sent to harass them. Vron held his breath as the drones activated, weapons glowing. By all logic, the humans should have panicked. Their weapons were weak, and their numbers were small. But instead, the humans scattered intelligently. One dropped to the ground, another rolled behind cover, and a third suddenly used a device to emit a bright flash. The drone faltered, its sensors momentarily confused. Vron's eyes widened. He had never seen humans act like this. It was reckless, yes, but precise in a way that even his alien comrades struggled to anticipate. The humans attacked together, moving with a coordination that seemed impossible for such a primitive species. Within moments, the drones were disabled or destroyed, and the humans were unharmed. The alien High Command had been wrong. Humans were not fragile. They were clever, dangerous even, in ways that no one had predicted. Vron made careful notes in his recorder. Every movement, every tactic, every improvisation. His training told him to remain objective, to observe without interfering, but curiosity gnawed at him. These creatures were fascinating. Their unpredictability made them a wild card in the galactic equation, and Vron could not look away. As the sun dipped lower, casting a red glow across the planet, Vron noticed the humans retreating toward a cluster of larger structures. From a distance, they appeared to be simple buildings, but Vron soon realized they were more than that. There were hidden barricades, camouflaged watch points, and even small energy shields that flickered briefly when approached. The humans had created defensive systems that were clever in their simplicity. He watched as one human, taller than the others, seemed to give orders. The others followed without hesitation, moving as if one mind guided them all. Vron felt a chill. He had seen many species, many civilizations, but he had never witnessed such unity in purpose. Even his own squad, trained and disciplined, did not move with such seamless coordination. Vron's thoughts drifted to his comrades back at the base. How would they react if they saw this? Would they finally believe the reports of human unpredictability, or would they dismiss it as exaggeration? Alien arrogance ran deep, and admitting that humans were not just survivors, but possibly formidable opponents, was difficult for them. Night fell and the planet's surface changed. The humans lit small fires, not as a threat, but as a signal to one another. Vron noticed that even in darkness, humans adapted quickly. They moved silently, using the terrain to their advantage. He saw one slip into a narrow canyon and reappear moments later at a different point, having bypassed what would have been a deadly trap for his alien drones. Vron's mind raced. These creatures did not rely on advanced technology alone. They relied on intelligence, creativity, and courage. Each move was unpredictable, each action calculated in ways his alien sensors could barely comprehend. And yet, they did not act like machines. There was emotion, intuition, and a daring that no programming could replicate. The first night passed quietly, but Vron's sleep was restless. Images of humans moving through ambushes, improvising defenses, and coordinating attacks replayed in his mind. He could not stop thinking about the implications. If even a small group of humans could challenge his patrols, what might an entire planet's population do? Morning brought new challenges. Vron followed a group of humans as they moved toward the outskirts of a crater. They carried containers of some sort, carefully placing them at specific points. Curious, Vron used a remote drone to get closer. From his feed, he saw the humans step back, then trigger the devices. They exploded, not with massive force, but with precision. Small alien drones that had been surveying the area were disabled instantly. The humans retreated without a single casualty. Vron's jaw tightened. They were tactical geniuses in miniature, using minimal resources to maximum effect. Back at the alien command, Vron submitted his observations. He detailed every human tactic, every unexpected maneuver, every instance of bravery and innovation. His superiors skimmed the report and dismissed it. "Humans exaggerate," they said. "Your imagination is running wild." But Vron knew the truth. He had seen it with his own eyes. Over the next several days, Vron continued his observations. Humans moved through forests, deserts, and urban areas with a fluidity that seemed almost supernatural. They fought not just with weapons, but with traps, psychological tactics, and sheer unpredictability. Vron saw civilians assisting soldiers, children helping with logistics, elders offering wisdom and strategy. Every person contributed, turning even ordinary settlements into strongholds. One evening, Vron witnessed a moment that would remain in his memory forever. A human squad, surrounded by alien drones, was clearly outnumbered. By any logical standard, they should have been annihilated. Yet, the humans did not panic. They coordinated silently, creating diversions, exploiting weaknesses, and turning the tide. The aliens, superior in technology and firepower, were repelled. Vron could not understand it. The humans were fearless, daring, and clever. They fought not because they had to, but because they would not allow defeat. The spirit of survival, the drive to protect each other and their home, was a force stronger than any weapon. He began to feel something unexpected. Fear and admiration intertwined. These humans were dangerous, yes, but their courage demanded respect. For the first time, Vron questioned the alien perspective that humans were inferior. They were something else entirely, something unpredictable, something alive, something terrifying in the way they defied expectations. By the end of the week, Vron had filled his recorder with dozens of accounts, of clever ambushes, daring rescues, improvised defenses, and acts of bravery that defied logic. Each entry painted a picture of humans not as fragile beings, but as survivors and warriors of remarkable skill. Vron knew he faced a dilemma. His mission was to report, not interfere. Yet as he observed humans overcoming impossible odds, he could not deny the admiration swelling within him. These creatures were extraordinary, and underestimating them could be catastrophic for any species. As he prepared to leave the observation post for the next phase of his assignment, Vron looked back at the humans below. Fires burned in small clusters, signaling the end of another day. The humans laughed, spoke to one another, and repaired their defenses. They were ordinary in appearance, yet extraordinary in spirit. Vron realized that this was only the beginning. He had witnessed the tip of human potential, and he could already foresee that their true strength had yet to be revealed. For the first time in his life as a soldier, Vran felt a mix of anticipation and dread. He was about to learn what it truly meant to face humanity in warfare. And he knew one thing with absolute certainty. The aliens had underestimated humans, and underestimation, in the face of such creatures, could be fatal. Vran adjusted his armor once more, activated his stealth module, and descended further into human territory. The story of human warfare was only beginning, and he would be there to witness it, fascinated, fearful, and utterly captivated. The next morning, Vran climbed a rocky ridge to get a better view of the human settlement. From this height, he could see the full scope of their operations. Humans moved with purpose, setting up barriers, patrolling their perimeter, and communicating in ways that were at once chaotic and organized. Every action seemed to balance instinct with strategy. Vran adjusted his recording sensors, capturing every detail. The alien high command had sent him deeper into human territory now, expecting him to gather more intelligence on their strength, their numbers, and their weaknesses. But Vran's mind kept returning to one thought. Humans were unlike anything he had ever studied. Their unpredictability, their courage, and their ability to turn the smallest advantage into victory made them fascinating and frightening. He focused on a small group of humans moving toward a narrow canyon. His sensors picked up alien drones in the area, invisible to the humans. The drones would have been enough to scare most species into hiding. Not these humans. The first human crouched low, scanning the terrain with alert eyes. The second carried a device that emitted a faint light, testing for traps. A third whispered instructions to the others. Vran watched in amazement as they navigated the canyon with extraordinary care, avoiding every trap the drones had laid out. They moved silently, yet coordinated, their small gestures communicating volumes. Then it happened. A drone activated its weapon and fired, expecting an easy strike. The humans didn't panic. One rolled behind a boulder, another triggered a small device that created smoke, and a third fired a projectile that struck the drone's control system. The drone sputtered and fell, harmlessly spinning to the ground. Vran felt a chill in his armor. Every move these humans made was unexpected, clever, and precise. They did not rely on superior technology. They relied on brains, courage, and unity. Every tactic was improvisation, yet it worked perfectly. He followed the humans as they emerged from the canyon. They approached a small ridge overlooking a river. Here, Vran observed something extraordinary. The humans began to prepare defenses for an expected attack. But these were not ordinary defenses. They dug shallow trenches, set up camouflaged barriers, and arranged their weapons in unpredictable patterns. It was clear they understood the terrain better than any alien scout could. Vran recorded every detail. These humans were not just surviving, they were thriving in the face of potential danger. Each action, each decision, was guided by instinct and intelligence working together. It was terrifying to witness. As the humans worked, a small alien patrol appeared, moving cautiously toward the ridge. Vran's heart raced. He knew that even a single patrol could easily overpower the humans if they relied only on strength. But the humans had anticipated this. One of them crawled to a hidden position and triggered a small device. A loud mechanical noise echoed through the ridge, startling the aliens and causing them to hesitate. Before the aliens could react, the humans moved in perfect coordination. One distracted the patrol from the front, while others attacked from the sides. Every move was deliberate, yet fluid, almost like a dance. Within moments, the patrol was incapacitated, not with excessive force, but with cleverness and timing. Vran's mind struggled to comprehend it. He had seen many species in combat, but none had displayed such fearless intelligence and creativity under pressure. The humans were terrifying not because of power, but because of their unpredictability and daring. As the day passed, Vron continued to observe humans at work. They repaired equipment quickly, carried supplies efficiently, and even tended to their wounded while remaining alert for danger. Civilians were involved as well, helping to reinforce structures or provide intelligence. Everyone contributed, no matter their role or age. In the late afternoon, Vron noticed a young human, no older than 12, assisting a small group of soldiers in moving supplies. The child carried heavy containers with determination, not complaining once. Vron recorded the scene, his mind conflicted. In his society, children were sheltered from warfare. Yet here, they participated willingly, showing courage and responsibility far beyond their years. Vron's admiration grew, but so did his unease. These humans were unpredictable. They did not follow the patterns aliens expected. They adapted, learned, and exploited weaknesses in ways that machines and even highly trained soldiers struggled to counter. To face them in battle would require far more than technology. It would require creativity, resilience, and a willingness to take risks. Night fell, and the humans lit small fires around their perimeter. Vron watched as they gathered, sharing stories and laughter. Even in the shadow of potential attack, they remained human, not just fighters, but beings capable of joy, humor, and companionship. Their morale was unshakable. Vron noticed one human, older than the rest, moving among the group. The elder whispered advice, observed movements, and encouraged the younger humans. There was wisdom in their actions, a balance of courage and thoughtfulness that Vron had not anticipated. These were not reckless fighters. They were careful, clever, and unified by purpose. Suddenly, sensors detected a distant alien patrol moving toward the settlement. Vron's pulse quickened. He expected humans to scatter or hide. Instead, they prepared. Barricades were reinforced, signals sent, and positions adjusted. Then, with precision timing, they engaged the alien patrol. Vron observed in awe. The humans outsmarted the patrol. They did not rely on brute force. They anticipated the aliens' every move, countered attacks with clever traps, and turned the terrain to their advantage. The aliens were forced to retreat, confused and frustrated. Vron recorded everything, his admiration growing. These humans were not only resilient, they were strategists, innovators, and fearless warriors. Every encounter taught him something new about their capabilities, and he realized that underestimating them would be a fatal mistake for any species. As the night deepened, Vron reviewed his notes. Humans had used intelligence, courage, and creativity to overcome superior technology. They had fought together, supported each other, and maintained morale even in the face of danger. Their strength was not in machines or numbers. It was in spirit, ingenuity, and determination. Vron felt a strange respect for the species he had been sent to study. They were dangerous, yes, but they were also admirable. Every action, every clever maneuver, every act of bravery reinforced a single truth. Humans were not ordinary beings. They were extraordinary in ways that few could predict. The following days brought more challenges. Vron observed humans navigating hazardous terrain, setting traps for alien patrols, and using misinformation to confuse opponents. Even when outnumbered or outgunned, humans found ways to turn the situation to their advantage. One day, Vron saw a human squad ambushed by a small alien unit. The humans were trapped in a canyon with no apparent escape, yet they did not panic. Using quick thinking, they created diversions, misled the aliens, and slipped through a hidden passage. No human was lost. Vron felt a mix of fear and admiration. These creatures thrived where others would have perished. Vron began to wonder how his own species would fare in the same circumstances. Could his comrades survive without relying solely on technology? Could they improvise, adapt, and fight with such unity and intelligence? He doubted it. Humans were unlike anything he had known, both terrifying and inspiring. By the end of the week, Vron's recorder was filled with countless examples of human ingenuity. Each story reinforced the same lesson. Humans were not fragile or predictable. They were formidable opponents, capable of extraordinary feats of strategy, courage, and creativity. As he prepared to move deeper into human territory, Vron realized that his mission had changed. He was no longer simply gathering intelligence. He was studying a species that could teach him lessons in bravery, resilience, and innovation. Observing humans had awakened something within him, a recognition of their potential and a respect that he could not ignore. Vron activated his stealth module and moved forward, ready to witness more. He knew that the humans' true strength had yet to be revealed. Their ingenuity and courage would continue to challenge him, surprise him, and perhaps even inspire him in ways he had never imagined. In the quiet of the night, as the human settlement glowed softly below, Vron felt both awe and apprehension. These creatures, whom his people had dismissed as weak and inferior, were something else entirely. They were unpredictable, fearless, and brilliant in ways that no alien training could prepare him for. The story of human warfare, as Vron had begun to understand, was not about sheer power or numbers. It was about the will to survive, the courage to face impossible odds, and the intelligence to turn every disadvantage into an opportunity. And Vron, an alien soldier trained to see patterns and weaknesses, had never encountered a species quite like this. Humans were dangerous, yes, but they were also magnificent. And Vron knew, deep in his heart, that facing them in battle would be the most challenging and humbling experience of his life. Vron moved quietly through the rocky hills above the human settlement, his eyes scanning every movement below. In the past days, he had witnessed humans display cleverness, bravery, and adaptability beyond anything he had ever seen. But now, as he observed them closer than ever, he began to feel a deeper emotion: respect. These humans were more than survivors. They were strategists, engineers, and thinkers. Each person contributed to the group, not because they were ordered to, but because they chose to. They had purpose, they had spirit, and most of all, they refused to be defeated. Vron crouched behind a ridge and watched a group of human soldiers approaching a small alien observation post. Their movements were careful yet confident. One human seemed to act as a leader, guiding the others silently with gestures and brief signals. They carried simple weapons and equipment, yet their actions were precise, coordinated, and thoughtful. The alien drones guarding the post were more advanced, faster, and better armed. Any species would have hesitated to attack, but the humans did not. They assessed the situation, made a plan in seconds, and executed it with near perfection. One human distracted a drone with a decoy, another disabled a sensor, and the rest approached from angles the drones could not anticipate. Vron's jaw tightened. He had never seen anything like this. The humans used intelligence and strategy over brute force, turning a dangerous situation into a victory that required no casualties on their side. Over the following days, Vron continued his observations. He began noticing subtle qualities in humans that were not immediately obvious. They communicated silently, understood each other without words, and adapted rapidly to unexpected changes. Even children and elders participated in ways that supported the larger goal, whether by carrying supplies, repairing equipment, or scouting. Vron's admiration grew, but it also conflicted with his duty. His mission was to study humans for alien command, not to sympathize with them. Yet, he could not deny the truth. Humans were remarkable. They were capable of brilliance and bravery in equal measure, and their determination to survive was unlike anything he had ever witnessed. One evening, Vron observed a small human squad returning from a scouting mission. They carried supplies, and 2 of them assisted a wounded comrade who had fallen earlier. The soldiers moved carefully, ensuring the injured human was safe while remaining alert for danger. They adjusted their pace and formation to protect the group, showing both compassion and tactical awareness. Vron's sensors recorded every detail, but he found himself fascinated by the humans as individuals, not just as soldiers. They laughed, they argued, they encouraged one another. Their courage was not blind. It was guided by intelligence, care, and a sense of duty to each other. The next day, Vron followed a team of humans as they prepared defenses for a possible alien raid. He noticed how they used the terrain creatively, digging trenches in strategic positions, camouflaging them with natural materials, and setting traps that would confuse even his own sensors. They reinforced weak points in structures, coordinated watch shifts, and even trained younger humans to act as messengers or spotters. Vron realized that humans did not simply react to danger. They planned, prepared, and innovated in ways that maximized their survival and effectiveness. The alien High Command had considered them primitive, yet these humans were far more capable than any of his reports had suggested. That evening, a small group of alien drones moved toward the settlement. Vron watched as the humans calmly responded. One human climbed a ridge to get a better view, while others positioned themselves in hidden spots. When the drones arrived, the humans used clever distractions and traps to disable them efficiently. No human was harmed, and the drones were neutralized with minimal resources. Vron's admiration deepened. These humans adapted under pressure, using creativity and courage to overcome challenges that would have overwhelmed most species. They were fearless in a way that was terrifying, yet inspiring. As days passed, Vron began noticing patterns in human behavior. They learned quickly from mistakes, shared knowledge freely, and encouraged each other constantly. When one human failed, another corrected the error without blame. When a strategy succeeded, they celebrated together, reinforcing morale and confidence. Vron recorded everything, but he also began to reflect on his own species. In his society, soldiers relied heavily on technology and hierarchy. Initiative was discouraged and failure was punished. Humans, in contrast, thrived on initiative, adapted without fear, and treated each member of the group as valuable. He began to wonder, could the aliens survive against humans if they relied only on technology and strength? The thought unsettled him. Humans were not just resilient. They were innovators in combat, thinkers in crisis, and fearless in the face of danger. One afternoon, Vron observed an extraordinary event. A group of humans had been surrounded by alien patrols while trying to gather supplies. The situation looked hopeless. By logic, they should have been captured or eliminated. Yet the humans did not panic. They used smoke, mirrors, and diversion tactics, confusing the aliens and creating openings. One human moved quietly behind the patrol and disabled a weapon system. Another lured the aliens into a narrow canyon where they could not maneuver. Slowly, methodically, the humans turned the situation around. Within minutes, they had escaped without a single casualty. Vron was stunned. They had done the impossible, not by strength, but by intelligence, creativity, and courage. He realized that humans thrived in situations where others would fail. Their spirit, their determination, and their unity made them stronger than he had ever imagined. That night, Vron reflected on everything he had seen. Humans were not only skilled fighters, they were problem solvers, leaders, and collaborators. Each person contributed, whether by strength, knowledge, or courage. They were terrifying in their unpredictability and inspiring in their persistence. The more Vron observed, the more he began to question his own loyalty to the alien war effort. He had been trained to see humans as weak, but the reality was undeniable. Humans were extraordinary. They were capable of brilliance, bravery, and selflessness, and they were growing stronger every day. In the following days, Vron noticed even more examples of human ingenuity. A small team repaired damaged equipment in the middle of an enemy-controlled area. Another group coordinated a supply route that bypassed alien patrols entirely. They communicated silently, adapted quickly, and maintained morale even in dangerous situations. Vron began to understand the deeper reason for their success. Humans did not rely solely on weapons or technology. They relied on each other, on their wits, and on their determination to survive and protect what mattered most. One evening, he observed a particularly daring rescue. A young human had been trapped in a canyon by a patrol of aliens. The squad organized a clever plan, using decoys, diversions, and timing to reach the trapped human. They succeeded without harm. The courage and creativity displayed left Vron in awe. He realized that these humans were not reckless. They were courageous, clever, and compassionate. They fought for each other, for their homes, and for their survival. Their bravery was not random. It was guided by purpose, intelligence, and spirit. By now, Vron's reports had become more than observation. They were reflections of admiration. He began noting not just strategies, but the qualities that made humans extraordinary: their courage, ingenuity, adaptability, and unity. One morning, a larger alien force approached the human settlement. Vron observed as the humans prepared. They coordinated defenses, set traps, and organized teams for reconnaissance and diversion. Even children and civilians had roles. Some carried supplies, others acted as lookouts, and everyone worked together seamlessly. When the aliens attacked, Vron watched in awe. Humans turned the tide with clever traps, clever positioning, and sheer determination. The aliens, superior in strength and technology, were forced to retreat repeatedly. The humans' unity and intelligence had won the day. Vron knew he was witnessing something extraordinary. Humans were not simply survivors, they were warriors, strategists, and leaders. Their strength lay not in technology or numbers, but in spirit, creativity, and courage. As the sun set, Vron recorded his final notes for the day. Humans were fearless, intelligent, adaptable, and selfless. They were extraordinary in ways no alien training could predict. He realized that to face them in battle would be both the greatest challenge and the most humbling experience of his life. Vron understood one truth with absolute certainty. Underestimating humans could be fatal. They were more than a species. They were a force of nature, unpredictable, ingenious, and unyielding. He activated his stealth module and moved closer to observe the humans more intimately. He no longer saw them as subjects for study. He saw them as a species worthy of respect and, perhaps, a species that could teach even an alien soldier a lesson in courage, intelligence, and determination. And for the first time, Vron felt something he had never felt before. The humans had earned his respect. The horizon glowed with the light of distant explosions as Vron moved along the ridge, observing the human settlement preparing for a massive confrontation. The alien high command had deployed a large strike force, confident that their advanced weapons and superior numbers would finally overwhelm the humans. But Vron, after days of careful observation, knew better. These humans were unlike any species he had faced. From his vantage point, he could see humans moving with purpose. Civilians and soldiers alike worked together, reinforcing barricades, setting traps, and coordinating positions. Children carried messages and small supplies, elders offered strategic guidance, and soldiers rehearsed maneuvers to respond to every possible scenario. The humans' coordination was extraordinary, each action synchronized yet flexible, anticipating the enemy before it even appeared. Vron activated his recording sensors and focused on a particular group of humans stationed near the outer perimeter. They were fewer in number than the alien forces approaching, yet their resolve was unmistakable. One soldier climbed a high ridge to survey the field, Another adjusted a series of clever devices designed to mislead and delay the enemy, while a third moved quietly to secure vital supplies. Every move was calculated, every action deliberate, every human aware of the stakes yet undeterred by the odds. As the alien forces neared, Vron felt a familiar mix of fear and admiration. He had seen humans accomplish incredible feats before, but the scale of this confrontation would push them to their limits. And yet, he sensed no panic, only determination. The first wave of alien drones moved forward, expecting an easy victory. But humans had anticipated their arrival. Small explosive devices detonated in precise sequences, forcing the drones to retreat or stumble into traps. The humans did not fire recklessly. Each shot, each maneuver, was carefully timed to maximize effect while minimizing risk. Vron observed with fascination as the humans adapted to every unexpected movement of the alien forces, turning potential disaster into opportunity after opportunity. In the chaos, Vron noticed a young human, no more than 14, directing a group of adults to reinforce a weak point in the perimeter. The youth's voice was calm, confident, and commanding. His instructions were followed without hesitation. Vron's sensors recorded the event, but his mind lingered on it. These humans, even in the face of danger, demonstrated leadership, intelligence, and courage that few species could match. As the battle intensified, Vron focused on the human leader coordinating the defense. He was neither the largest nor the strongest among them, but his awareness, strategy, and decisiveness were unmatched. With subtle gestures and quiet commands, he moved his forces like pieces on a board, anticipating alien movements and turning each attack into a chance to gain advantage. Vron realized something profound. Humans did not rely solely on power or technology. They relied on creativity, intelligence, and unity. Even when outnumbered, they turned every weakness into strength, every disadvantage into opportunity. The alien forces advanced with confidence, yet each step brought unexpected challenges, traps, diversions, and counterattacks that left them bewildered. In one striking instance, a group of humans was surrounded by alien drones on 3 sides. The odds were overwhelmingly against them. Yet, they did not panic. They used smoke, mirrors, and misdirection to confuse the drones, creating openings to escape. One human climbed a ridge to signal a new strategy, another triggered a small device that caused the drones to miscalculate, and the rest moved silently to safety. Vron watched in awe as the humans turned an impossible situation into a tactical success. By mid-battle, Vron understood the full truth. Humans were not only survivors, they were masters of adaptation. They anticipated threats, exploited weaknesses, and used every resource at their disposal. Their courage was guided by intelligence, their determination strengthened by unity. Vron's admiration deepened, but so did his sense of urgency. He had been trained to report, to observe, and to avoid interference. Yet he found himself conflicted. Could he remain loyal to a command that underestimated such a species? Could he continue to watch these humans struggle while knowing their brilliance and courage? As the alien forces regrouped for a final assault, the humans executed a plan that was both bold and brilliant. They had constructed hidden barriers, set traps, and positioned themselves to maximize efficiency. The humans coordinated signals, timed maneuvers, and adapted to every alien action with astonishing precision. Even when a part of the plan went awry, they adjusted instantly, turning setbacks into advantages. Vron could not help but feel a surge of respect. These humans were extraordinary. They faced impossible odds not with fear, but with intelligence and courage. They relied on each other, drew strength from unity, and transformed adversity into opportunity. Every move was a testament to their resilience, ingenuity, and unyielding spirit. The alien forces were caught off guard. Their advanced weapons and superior numbers could not overcome the humans' unpredictability and clever tactics. Drones were disabled by unexpected traps, patrols were led into ambushes, and larger units were forced to retreat repeatedly. Vron realized that the humans' greatest strength was not their weapons. It was their ability to think, adapt, and cooperate under pressure. Amid the battle, Vron observed a moment that would remain with him forever. A small group of humans had been cut off from the main force. The aliens assumed they would be eliminated easily. Yet the humans moved with careful coordination. They created diversions, outsmarted their pursuers, and reunited with the main group without a single casualty. Vron felt a mixture of fear, awe, and admiration. He had never seen such skill, bravery, and ingenuity combined in one species. The humans were not only surviving, they were triumphing against impossible odds. As the battle continued, Vron's perspective shifted. He no longer saw humans as subjects to observe. He saw them as warriors, thinkers, and leaders, capable of achieving greatness even in the direst situations. Their courage inspired him, their intelligence amazed him, and their unity humbled him. By the time the final wave of aliens was repelled, the humans had achieved something remarkable. Their settlement remained intact, their casualties were minimal, and their morale was unshaken. They had turned what should have been a catastrophic assault into a demonstration of brilliance, bravery, and resilience. Vron's recorder was filled with accounts of strategy, improvisation, and courage, but his mind held something even more important: understanding. He understood now why humans were feared, respected, and celebrated. They were not simply strong or lucky, they were adaptable, intelligent, and united in purpose. The alien high command, observing from afar, could not comprehend what had happened. Their advanced technology and superior numbers had been outmaneuvered by beings they considered primitive. Vron knew the truth. Humans were not primitive. They were extraordinary. As the dust settled and the humans tended to their wounded and repaired their defenses, Vron reflected on everything he had witnessed. These creatures, once dismissed as weak, had shown brilliance, courage, and resilience that surpassed expectation. They had fought together, protected one another, and turned even impossible situations into victories. Vron realized that this was the essence of human warfare. Not the weapons they used, but the spirit, intelligence, and unity that guided every action. Humans were formidable not because of strength alone, but because of their courage, creativity, and unyielding determination. As night fell, Vron observed the humans gathering around small fires, sharing stories, laughter, and quiet conversations. They were alive, vibrant, and resilient. He felt a deep sense of admiration and respect. These beings had earned it, through every clever tactic, every courageous act, and every demonstration of unity and intelligence. Vron knew that the human story would not end here. They would continue to innovate, adapt, and thrive in the face of challenges. They would continue to surprise, inspire, and terrify any who underestimated them. He activated his stealth module and prepared to leave the observation point. His mission had begun as a simple reconnaissance, but it had become something far more profound. He had witnessed the true power of humanity, and he knew it would shape his understanding, and perhaps even the decisions of his own species, for years to come. As he descended from the ridge, Vron made a final entry in his recorder. Humans are extraordinary. Their courage, intelligence, and unity surpass expectations. They are fearless, adaptable, and capable of brilliance in the face of overwhelming odds. Any who underestimate them do so at their peril. I now understand that to face humans in battle is to face a force unlike any other in the galaxy. They are not only survivors, they are warriors, thinkers, and leaders. The universe would do well to remember this truth. Vron looked back at the settlement one last time. Fires burned brightly in the night, illuminating the humans moving among their homes, repairing, laughing, and preparing for whatever challenges lay ahead. He felt a mixture of awe, respect, and fear. These creatures had defied every expectation and demonstrated a power far greater than technology or numbers could explain. The humans had won, not simply because of weapons or tactics, but because of spirit, ingenuity, and courage. They had faced overwhelming odds and emerged stronger, wiser, and more united than before. Vron knew one thing for certain: humans were the ultimate survivors and warriors, and he would carry the lessons he had learned from them for the rest of his life. In that moment, as the stars shone above and the planet rested in quiet anticipation, Vron understood the true meaning of HFY. Humanity, at its finest, feared and respected even by those who once underestimated it, and in that understanding, he found a strange peace. Humanity had proven itself, not through domination or destruction, but through courage, intelligence, and unyielding spirit. Vron activated his flight module and ascended into the sky, leaving the humans behind, but carrying their story forward. A story of resilience, a story of ingenuity, a story of a species that had earned its place among the stars, not just as survivors, but as warriors worthy of respect, admiration, and awe. And so the tale of human warfare, as told by an alien soldier, came full circle. The humans had triumphed, not merely through strength, but through spirit, intelligence, and unity, the true marks of an extraordinary species.